Good morning. Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Cara DeFalco.
And I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta on our Garden State weather forecast.
Very good morning to you both. Happy Friday.
Happy
Friday
Friday.
before Mother's Day. We've got some rain in the forecast, if you haven't heard.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
A little bit, and a little cold, too. Not the ideal brunch forecast for mom, maybe, but hey, if we get through this weekend, we've got some beautiful weather ahead for next week. So some light at the end of about a 3-day-long rainy, dark tunnel. Let's get outside where the rain is falling across New Jersey. We start off with all that wet weather right now, most of it happening in the northern sections of the state, right there from Route 80 north up toward Patterson, even Route 78 and north, picking up some of that wet weather. In south and central Jersey, you'll start to see a little bit more rainfall as the morning progresses, especially later on this afternoon. You're, for the most part, dry with just a little bit of drizzles right now, but there is some wet weather coming in from the west. You see that in Pennsylvania, and that will lead to our rainy Friday. Our forecast map for today has mostly cloudy skies with showers and a temperature of only 59 degrees. It stays chilly through this afternoon, and the wind starts picking up. High temperatures across New Jersey will remain very chilly with all of that cool air around, no matter where you find yourself across New Jersey. So from the top of the state up in Sussex County, even down toward Newark and by Seabright, 58 degrees. Belmar, 60 and windy. We'll talk more about how those wind gusts will impact tomorrow's forecast, including the coastal flooding threat. Those details, including what to expect for your Mother's Day brunch forecast, in just a few minutes. Cara and Lisa Marie.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. So, we're so excited to introduce not our next guest, but our next team member. He's going to be joining us regularly for our live shows. We've got a check of your Jersey commute, and it's always a doozy, with good friend, and old colleague, Don Traffic, Don Smith. Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. We're so happy to have you here.
Yes, thank you, Cara. It's great to be with you, and great to be with you, Lisa Marie. It's a real pleasure to do this, and it just seems like we've been friends for so long, Cara. Same thing with Mike, and newly made friends there with Lisa Marie. So it's fantastic.
This is basically a family affair. This show. That's really just how we operate. So Don, Mike was just telling us it's raining this morning, which means you and I both know very well traffic is a mess.
It is. That's right, Cara. Yeah, it's just kind of annoyance rain until it really picks up because there's still some oil on the road. So until we get the heavier rain to really wash that away, that's when things will be slow, but it'd still be slippery. But right now it could be a little slippery. So we're seeing that northern spot where Mike said just north of Route 80. So we do have one big issue here. This is along Route 3, and this has been out there for most of the morning. It's about 4 o'clock. This is westbound 3. This is coming off the Hackensack River Bridge, just as you get out towards 120 in the Meadowlands. So what's happening is they're detouring all the traffic onto northbound 120. So now, as you can see here, this is all the way backed up through Secaucus, and it's all the way getting onto 495 as well. So we're heavy all the way back to the Lincoln Tunnel. Not too many times you could say getting away from the Lincoln Tunnel is heavy, but it is now. And also the other issue is getting onto the northbound Eastern Spur. So this is all, everyone's bailing out here at that 3 interchange with the Eastern Spur of the Turnpike. So that's becoming just a bit of a mess. Let's go to my camera here. Let me see if I can refresh this here. So this is out by Wood Avenue and Secaucus. As you can see it here, that's westbound that's moving away. Let me see if I can bring up the 495 camera. Some of these cameras are just a little bit temperamental. There it is. So it's starting to ease up a little bit. That's traffic that's headed away there. This is out by 19 in North Bergen, that whole interchange here this morning. So that's going to be a little bit heavy. You also have another issue here this morning. This is going to be on the Turnpike. You see it in the center. And actually, we just move the cameras. So this was really getting off of Route 3 onto the Western Spur at 16W. So it's really on the shoulder, but you may see just a bit of a brief slowdown. Let's take a look at some of the Hudson River crossings. The Lincoln Tunnel into town is maybe 10 minutes. Holland Tunnel, maybe about 10 or so from all the approaches, and the George Washington Bridge really the worst, looking at just about 25. Let's check in with the rest of the state. We'll head down the shore. Garden State Parkway is fine. So is the AC Expressway. Let me just zoom in here and see what's going on. This is the long-term construction on 55 in Deptford, right, that 42 interchange. So you're trying to get into Philly, could be backed up just a bit. Same thing on westbound 70, and then we'll make our way up towards the Capitol and Trenton. That is going to be moving fine along 295. Same thing with the Turnpike. And as we make our way way up towards Somerset County, Hillsborough 202 looks great, 78 is fine, and all the way up towards Route 80. Again, traffic is fairly quiet. Hopefully that'll stay that way. But again, with this rain, as Mike said, could start to hamper the plans, maybe start to plan for that afternoon and evening commute. And that's it here from the traffic center. So good to say that. Karen, Lisa Marie, back over to you.
I have never loved a traffic report so much. I think because I think you're awesome, number one. Number two, we have traffic, right?
We have traffic. Well, and do you know, okay, so a lot of it, I started as a traffic reporter, but Don Smith is the only person I know who has a true passion for traffic, so much so that, Don, you wrote a book about traffic.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then also I'm going to have doing some stuff on my own later on next week. But
yes,
yeah, the Tri-State Traffic Show will get started up next week.
Wow.
When to find people who are passionate about what they do, that's really always our main goal. I think we do it very well here. And Don, again, we are so happy to have you. We'll be checking back in with you in just a little bit.
Thank you.
So much fun. Well, now we're not going to talk about fun topics. Here we go. After a draft of the U.S. Supreme Court's opinion, which revealed it was likely to overturn Roe versus Wade, was leaked, how would this impact New Jersey? On Monday night, Politico published what is said to be a draft opinion indicating the Supreme Court would overturn the constitutional right to abortion enshrined nearly 50 years ago. Joining us now is former Time Magazine senior reporter and attorney and a professor emeritus of political science at St. Peter's University in Jersey City, Alan Sanders. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. How are you both?
Very well, thank you. If the opinion comes down from the Supreme Court, how does that change the law?
Well, it changes the law nationally. That is to say, it will mean that there is no constitutional right to abortion. But what it really does, in effect, is it throws the whole issue back to the states. And so the states will decide individually how to deal with abortion within their borders. Now, here in New Jersey, it shouldn't make much of a difference. New Jersey has a very strong law protecting the right to abortion. And Governor Murphy just signed earlier this year that law, which makes abortion a fundamental right here in New Jersey. So it shouldn't affect the rights of women here in New Jersey. What it will do, however, is encourage women to come from other parts of the country where restrictions are likely to be imposed. And so New Jersey may find itself New Jersey may find itself having many women come here to have the abortion that they can't have in their states back home.
You know, I just want to follow up with that because it's just interesting. A state like Texas has very strict abortion laws already.
Right.
I feel like that might be happening already. So what's the difference if it's overturned or not? Because that's happening already on the state level.
Right. Well, what's happening at the state level is at least tentative, temporary. Those are laws that have been put on the books to test the right to abortion, and with the hopes that these cases will go up to the Supreme Court. Well, there is already a case up at the Supreme Court. It's the Mississippi case. It's the case where we've had the leak of the draft opinion. While those laws are on the book, they're not exactly in effect until we see what the Supreme Court does with the right to abortion in the Mississippi case that it's now considering. We won't know for sure what that final opinion actually says because what we've seen, the leaked draft that's come out is just a preliminary draft. So we don't know how broad the final decision will be, but we'll have to wait and see.
All right, and Professor, I'm glad you just kind of touched on that. So on a larger scale, what would that mean if this decision is overturned? What does it mean for other laws, other constitutional rights? I mean, where does one draw the line beyond this point? This is a slippery slope.
Right. Well, it's unclear because many decisions of the Supreme Court, many rights, are based on the right to privacy. And the right to privacy is not explicitly stated in the Constitution. It's basically an interpretation of the Supreme Court over many years. What concerns many people, for instance, right now, is that what would it mean for gay marriage? We've had a decision based, again, on the 14th Amendment, but also the Equal Protection Clause that has legalized gay marriage. But what's interesting is that in that gay marriage case, Justice Alito was in dissent. And we know, of course, that Justice Alito is the presumed author of the pending decisions on abortions. So there is concern about what this might mean, at least for gay marriage, and also for a whole host of other rights and privileges that are based on this amorphous right to privacy.
And then, Professor, what impact do you think this is going to have on upcoming midterm elections and campaigns in the fall? I mean, this is definitely something where people are going to, fall on one side or the other.
Right. Well, it's hard to tell how it'll play out in terms of results, but certainly it's going to heighten the political divide in the country. It's going to be a major issue in the national elections, but most importantly, it's going to be a major issue at the state level for both state and local officials, because as I said, if the right to abortion is eliminated as a national right, the issue goes back to the states, and that means that state legislators and governors will have a big say in how big or how limited the right to abortion actually is. So this will really put some energy and some huge conflicts, political divides at the state level, as well certainly as at the national level.
Professor Sanders, thank you so much for shining light on this very important issue.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. So another big thing that happened in New Jersey this week is one of the strictest bans on single-use bags in the country has gone into effect here in our state. November of 2020, Governor Murphy signed a bill into law that prohibits single-use plastic and paper bags and disposable food containers and cups made of polystyrene foam. Some products are exempt until 2024, such as food service items deemed necessary by state regulators. People are able to bring reusable bags to the store, or the stores can sell reusable bags. Restaurants are still able to provide single-use paper bags, and food will still be allowed to be delivered in plastic containers. So I know it's a little confusing for folks. I was checking out of the grocery store just the other day, and the woman next to me was like, wait, do I buy this bag? She was a little confused as to what she could and could not do.
Well, I heard stories of people just carrying their stuff with their hands.
All right, so I have to tell you, I have a rule, in certain stores, that's my rule. So Target. I refuse to use a shopping cart or a bag in a Target because I will go in for $3 worth of product and walk out with $250 worth. So I said, if I can't carry it out in my arms, I'm not allowed to purchase it.
All right, I like that rule. But if you're balancing eggs and things that could be a little
That's
tricky.
A little tough. But I have the big purse too. I'm notorious for being if I just have a handful of things, I'm just going in the purse.
Well, I was kind of held captive because the baby was sick all week.
Oh no.
So we did Amazon delivery, and even the delivery is different. It wasn't in the paper bags. Whole Foods sent reusable bags.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
And they're
That's
really
good.
nice.
They are. I know for the grocery deliveries, they are still allowed to use the plastic bags.
I was a canvas bag though.
Oh, so. There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
It was really nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff happening. All right, guys, coming up next, we're talking with Anthony Paradiso from JerseySportingNews.com.
And you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who is going to be on the show and so much more. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's get a check of your weekend weather with meteorologist Mike Favetta. And, we got a big weekend, Mike. It's Mother's Day weekend. People trying to go to parks, people trying to go to brunch, people want to eat outdoors. We're going to make it?
None of those things will happen.
None of those things are happening, huh?
You know what, though? For Mother's Day, I have to say, it's the perfect weather for what I want to do.
I was going to say, your wish might come true.
Which is nothing. I want to be in a
alone.
dark room with no phone. By myself.
And no other human being.
It's been a week. The baby was sick, like I said in the last segment. So I need a break, guys.
And as the unofficial surveyor that I am, I polled a few moms that I know, and they all say the same thing. They want to sleep in. They want to be left alone.
So a
Leave
rainy
mom
day is good for that.
That's so bad though, because obviously it's so special being a mom, but it's tiring.
No, but I was gonna say, I could see that. I could see it. Just
very
just leave me alone for 24 hours.
Moms need some self-care as well.
Yeah.
And with temperatures 20 degrees below average on Sunday with rain, it's going to be a good day to sleep in and relax, especially with all that wet weather. Now, if you're along the coast, you will find some coastal flooding by Sunday afternoon, and that could even linger into Sunday night and again on Monday morning. I've got those high tides coming up for you because we'll have gusts up to 50 miles per hour on Sunday afternoon. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very wet and windy weekend. So first, the threat is the coastal flooding, and that's primarily if you're in a low-lying area along the Barrier Islands, say from Asbury Park south down through Seaside and Toms River, and of course through Island Beach State Park. You will have all of the gusty winds pushing that flooding on shore. And so high tide times here beginning Saturday afternoon up in Atlantic Highlands around 1:51 in the afternoon, and again later on Sunday night and Sunday afternoon. And then you have Toms River early in the morning on Sunday, and again on Monday morning. Could have those tide waters reaching 3 to 4 feet above their average high tide. So this is a pretty big deal, especially when the Weather Service thinks there's moderate coastal flooding. And that could give us anywhere from 1 feet to maybe 18 inches of seawater on the streets that typically flood when we have these big storms. So technically this storm is not a nor'easter, but with gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour beginning tomorrow afternoon and lasting through tomorrow night and again for early Sunday morning. Yeah, it's going to be a busy day. So Mother's Day, certainly one for either staying indoors or staying dry will be key. Now, going forward, there's actually going to be a warm week ahead. If we look into next week, that 6 to 10 day temperature outlook has New Jersey painted in a lovely shade of red. Now, this is the only time we like red on a weather map, especially when we look forward to the sunny, warm months ahead, because the next few days after the rainy weekend, starting Monday, going into Tuesday, and most of next week, into next weekend actually looks quite mild, with temperatures well above average. We'll be into the 70s going into next weekend, and we'll likely hit them every single day. We'll talk more about that coming up on the 7-day forecast. But as for the next few days, it's all about the rain. Tomorrow, a windswept rain, specifically at the shore with those gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Even inland, you could see some pretty strong gusts. Then we have a little bit more of the wet weather on Sunday with some of those showers lingering. I think most of the rain will be done anywhere from 1 to 2 inches on Saturday. Then by Sunday afternoon, we start to see things clear out. By later on at night and Monday, just a little bit of sunshine pokes through the clouds. So looking much better by Monday afternoon. And that sets the stage for a beautiful week upcoming. Can't wait to tell you all about it on the 7-day forecast. That also means, however, a return to the tree pollen. It's been rough. You've seen the cars painted in a light green powder. Well, I think that returns next week after we get a nice, healthy, refreshing dose of rinse from all of the rainwater this week. And we'll talk more about that coming up with another check of your forecast. Karen, Lisa Marie?
Yeah, Mike, I got to say that rain has definitely been helping my allergies. I can breathe a little better, sounding a little bit better. So yeah, but I know, I think, does that 7-day forecast have a high temp in it that starts with the digit 8?
8?
No? Did I hear that some?
You'll just have to wait if another
We'll have
5
to wait
minutes
and
to
see.
find out.
Okay. Oh, all right. I thought maybe I was close. All right. Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
So bad weather means bad traffic.
Absolutely.
And we have traffic on the morning show now. I am so excited about this. Let's get a check of our Garden State traffic with Don Traffic with Don Smith. Hi, Don.
Hi, Lisa Marie. Nice to be with you. Good morning, Kara. Nice to see you again.
Good morning, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm like your hype girl.
That's great. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Well, I got myself all decked out for my debut here on the New Jersey Morning Show, as well as for Mother's Day. We have the Kentucky Derby tomorrow as well. So
that's right.
the only thing I don't have is a hat. I'm not really a real hat guy, but
I was gonna say I don't know that I've ever seen you in a hat top, but always the bow tie, and you are always looking dapper, my friend.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you very much. Yeah, as Lisa Marie said, with the weather, as Mike has been saying, starting to see that rain, kind of now starting to make its way into the state up towards the north, so it could be a little bit slippery. So let's be careful. Let's take a look at our maps here this morning. We do have one issue, and unfortunately, this is an accident investigation on westbound Route 3. So this is as you come out towards the Meadowlands. It's just at the interchange of Route 120. So that is still shut down, westbound 3. We're probably going on just about 5+ hours or so now with this shutdown. So all the traffic is being diverted onto 120. You can start to see it's just easing up a little bit across the Hackensack River, but the damage is done. Look at this. This westbound side of 3 is backed up all the way through Secaucus and getting out to Patterson Plank Road. My feeling is they may potentially have a lane open because this was all backed up onto 495, almost all the way back to the tunnel. There's not really many times you see that. But onto the northbound side of the eastern spur, this is picking up alternate volume. Everyone just bailing out, trying to make their way onto that eastern spur of the turnpike to get out of the way of the problems along Route 3. So let's go towards, let's see what we can find here. Let's see if we can find that camera at Wood Avenue. And again, some of these cameras are a little temperamental, but yeah, that's not really coming up here. So we'll go back to the maps, kind of just do a spot check, a little heavy here along Route 4 as you get out by the Riverside Square Mall and out towards Hackensack Avenue, as well as out through the Wayne area. Now, Mike had said some of the rain making its way up towards Lafayette, Sparta, Franklin along 1594, but at this point, I'm not really seeing that much in the way of any problems. Interstate 80, that looks pretty good. So does 206 and 287. We'll jump here into Central Jersey. Still so far so good here for getting into the mid-morning hours along the Parkway as well as on the 287. But it looks like we're picking up some issues here along 287 heading south. This is just south of the 78 interchange, and that looks like that's a crash literally just happened here just moments ago. So I want to keep an eye on that. And then we head for our friends in South Jersey. Again, traffic looks pretty good along Route 9 and 72, the Parkway. 55, still pretty busy here. Let's just kind of zoom in. This is that long-term construction getting into 42. And again, it's really nothing out of the ordinary. Hopefully someday we'll be able to report that road work will be finished, but you still have to deal with it. Everyone kind of slowing down and all the way down towards Cape May. Maybe some folks getting an early start out towards Mother's Day along Route 9 of the Parkway. You'll find it. Exit 0. Always love saying exit 0. Last time I was down there was last year. I should have got my picture in front of the exit 0 sign. But for the most part, fairly quiet out there. Just watch for the rain. Just give yourself some extra travel time. Karen, Lisa Marie, send it back to you.
Thanks so much. All right, guys. So with Mother's Day this weekend, happy Mother's Day, my friend.
You. Thanks, same to you.
Oh, for Mama,
yes.
Auntie, we'll get there.
You will. You will.
But we want you to treat your special lady to a glass of wine. Joining us now to talk about some great selections of bubbly to gift is Carol Berman, owner of Class in a Glass. Carol, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And you did deliver to our studio earlier this week some bubbly for us to taste as well as we go along here. So what do we have here in studio with us?
So what we have 2 sparkling wines that the first one is from Spain. It's called Reventos y Blanc.
Okay.
It's their 2018 vintage. This is a sparkling wine from northeastern Spain, from Catalonia, from the Anoia Valley. And these, the one of the founders of Reventos was the first person to actually make a sparkling wine in Spain from their indigenous grapes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, Cara, so we have to tell you a little bit story about our wine glasses this morning. So many years ago, I did a segment for Lisa on Halloween entertaining. And so these are the only wine glasses that we could find in the studio. And so mine says drink up witches.
And mine says I'm only here for the booze.
So I apologize because these are probably not the appropriate glasses to be drinking this out of. But
happy Halloween. It's great Halloween weather.
Wine at 9, man. It doesn't matter what you're drinking the wine out of. It's good.
Oh, okay.
And clean and where you can actually smell it. Just swirl it with me real quick.
Just swirl it. Okay.
And then just put your nose in the glass real fast. You get this wonderful aroma. No tasting yet. You have to taste. You have to smell it twice before because you really want to get
smell it twice.
Yeah, you want to get the aroma.
Okay.
Now taste it. And
now
let
taste
it.
it.
Your palate
I think I'm drunk just smelling it. Never mind. We have a long day of filming, so this is going to be interesting.
As well, there you go. I like this actually, Cara. I like this a lot.
Now,
And I
taste
don't
it one more
normally,
time.
I don't love sparkling wines, but I am enjoying this.
Yeah, this is a biodynamically produced wine. I'm into, Class in the Glass is into and promoting organic, biodynamic, sustainably farmed wine. I want my food clean farmed. I want my wine clean farmed. And Reventos has been doing this for a very long time. And there's not a wine that they produce that I have not loved, because it is beautifully made, and it's made in the champagne method, which means that the second fermentation, where you get your bubbles, is coming from that second fermentation in the bottle. And the bubbles are very, very fine. They're beautiful. It's dry, a little bit of lemon, a little citrus going on in there. It's just a very beautiful, easy wine to drink. Great for Mother's Day brunch, because it will go with just about everything.
Which was my next question for you. So what foods would you pair something like this with? So you would do this for a brunch?
I would absolutely do this and the next one with brunch. It's great with quiche, any kind of breakfast food, great with bacon, with the saltiness of the bacon. It'll play nicely with the flavor profile, and anything that you have that has any kind of fat in it, the bubbles are going to cut right through that.
Cut
the
right
bubbles
through
are the
it.
acidity.
So I have a question, Carol, before we get to the next one. And I've always wanted to know this. Why can't sparkling wine be called champagne?
Well, because Champagne is a specific region in France. And so all sparkling wine, so you cannot call it champagne unless it comes from that specific region. All sparkling wines they're out there from all different places, but you technically cannot call it champagne unless it comes from the Champagne region of France.
Good to know.
And these are made in the champagne method, again, with the second fermentation happening in the bottle. Long story. Next time I talk to you, I'll explain more. Long story short.
All right, but Carol, so we've got this other wine here. So tell us about the second one.
The second one is Albert Boxler.
Okay.
It is Alsace, France, which is it's a region that abuts Germany. It's a 3-grape blend of indigenous grapes, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Auxerrois, and Pinot Noir in this bottle. It is practicing organic farming. So again, it's clean produced, and it's very, very aromatic. And actually, this wine is 6 years old, believe it or not. And this is a sparkling wine that can actually age because of its pedigree, because of the care that they give the wine, the grapes in the vineyard. Most sparkling wines, if you're talking about champagne, your major brands that you see all over the place, those wines really cannot age. Aging is specific to vintage, if it was a good vintage, growing conditions, etc. So this wine,
I didn't know that. So champagne is something, or sparkling wines are something that when people give them to you for the holiday, that's
right.
not like, let's hang on to this for the next year. Like you should drink that sooner than later.
Yes, the only champagnes that really are ageable are vintage champagnes, which come from a specific growing season where the conditions are excellent. And so basically the others are blended, and it's okay. It's wonderful. Just drink them sooner than later, because they will not last. This, however, is quite ageable.
This is also, while you were explaining that to us, we did our sniff and our sip, and it's also very good, very mild. Honestly, I don't particularly care for champagne because I find the flavor of it to be a little too harsh. But both of these have been very light, mild, easy to go down.
Well, the difference is that these are high acid wines, so are champagnes. Mm-hmm. But most of the champagnes that are on the market, the mass produced, it's like drinking acid water to me with bubbles in it. These have flavor. These have, they have wonderful, pedigree, and they have beautiful attributes. They just are, we're talking about it. That says something about it. If we're having that discussion, that tells you that it's a very interesting wine.
Absolutely. Carol, one more time, just so everybody can know what to look for in the store. What were the two you sent us? Reventos?
Reventos y Blanc. It's their Blanc de Blanc bottling, 2018. I paid $10.99 for that wine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. You don't have to spend
They're
$50
affordable.
more. Okay. The second wine, the Boxler, I think I paid $28.99 on sale for this wine, worth every penny, because your mass-produced bubblies are going to cost you $50 or more a bottle. So Albert Boxler Cremant d'Alsace, and that Cremant, it's the sparkling wine that they produce in Alsace.
Yeah, and you know what, Carol, what we'll do is we'll take some photos of these labels and post them up on our social media so folks can find them there as well. And then, Carol, where can folks find out more about you, about Class in a Glass, and the other services and things that you provide?
Right. Well, we do, in-home wine tastings, corporate tastings. I work with many chefs, and I have for many years doing wine paired dinners. And you can find information at www.classinaglasswine.com.
Before we break, meteorologist Mike Vivetta had a question. Proper glass for champagne.
Okay. Well, I know why he's asking that, because we're not drinking them out of a flute.
Right.
I always drink sparkling wines out of a white wine glass, because I feel like the wine has more space and you get more aroma and you get more everything out of it. Flutes are very narrow. You can only get so much aroma out of something poured into a narrow glass.
All right, and I think a lot of us got this from Emily in Paris. Should you be drinking sparkling wines out of a coupe glass?
Well, this is what
basically the same thing. So white wine glass or a coupe glass would do you better than a flute.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the cupola, the short,
yes,
that will give you no aroma and no anything. It's beautiful.
Okay.
I have them here. I have some Waterford here. I use them for ice cream and sorbetto.
Carol, I knew you'd fit right on into this show.
Yes.
Thank you so much again, Carol Berman, classinaglasswines.com. Be sure to check her out. And thank you so much for these. Happy Mother's Day to you.
And same back.
This will be a very interesting day now that we got our
now that you started off
champagne drinking in at like 9:30
in our Halloween glasses at 9 in the morning. It's the New Jersey Morning Show, folks.
Exactly. Just got to roll with it. Here to tell us what's happening in Garden State sports is Anthony Paradiso from JerseySportingNews.com. Good morning, Tony Paradise.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for
Good morning. Salute.
Cheers. Are you drinking champagne right now?
Drinking at 9:30 in the morning?
Oh, no. I did.
You should start
after the Ranger game. Yeah.
We'll touch on the Rangers in just a second, but let's focus on this side of the river first. So former Rutgers football star Sean Tucker is coming home to head up fundraising efforts for the school. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I could tell you that he secured, when he was associate athletic director, which was his previous role with Rutgers and working with the R Fund, which is their fundraising arm, he secured the largest pledge in school history, which is $15 million from the Rodkin family. So he seems like he knows what he's doing. He's coming over. He obviously knows Coach Greg Schiano, the head coach of the football team. So he played there for 4 years. He was a captain his senior year when they won their first bowl game against Louisville in a long time. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see a former player like that in that role.
Well, we have profiled on the show that Rutgers Athletics, they're in a major hole. So this is coming at a great time, especially since Coach Greg Schiano, he wants a whole new facility.
Yeah.
That's right. He wants to replace like the Hale Center. I assume that's workouts, all that kind of stuff, and make it just top of the line for the football team. So possibly that could be another way to recruit players, couldn't it? Once you say that we have, state-of-the-art facilities. So he's definitely looking to step things up a bit. And, listen, Rutgers wants to be a Big Ten football program that is one of the best. So I see why they're doing it.
I like that they're doing it in terms of fundraising and not necessarily passing all the cost of things like that on to the students, because from the time I went there, which was years ago, that's consistently been an issue where, those of us who were not, world-class athletes, was like, what about our facilities? The TV studio needed some funding. The bio labs needed some funding. So it's nice that they brought somebody in to do fundraising versus passing it out to the kids overall.
Yeah. So moving on to the USFL, they recently kicked off their first ever season in Alabama. All of their games are being played in Alabama. And the New Jersey Generals are off to a 2-1 start. This weekend they play the Pittsburgh Maulers. Tell us about this matchup and the USFL in general. Is it something that we should be excited about?
Yeah, definitely. It's a different slant on professional football. It's a pretty new league. The head coach of the Generals used to coach in the NFL. He coached the Chargers. His name is Mike Riley. Basically the Generals, they won last week. It was kind of a thrilling game, back and forth, and they beat the Philadelphia Stars, and they're looking pretty good. They're 2-1. They're heading up their division. So maybe our Generals can win a championship. We can bring a championship home in one sport. And in terms of the USFL, I think it's very interesting. I haven't really followed this league too well, but I think it's definitely during the off season, it gives football fans something to watch.
Something to watch.
I like that about it. And the New Jersey Generals team looks pretty good too.
Are they? I'm sorry because that's the first time hearing about it. Is there a difference between like NFL football and USFL? Did they change the rules
There's
in any way?
certain rules. Like I think their games have been going very long, like way over 3 hours. So they're adjusting the rules to fall within 3 hours. But I mean, it's a lot of similarities too. I think it's different than the XFL. Remember, they kicked off right before COVID and then it went under again.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little different than that.
Boy, there's a lot going on.
I know, there is. Because, listen, football, of course, you want to capitalize on its popularity.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony, I know you did mention we started off with that Rangers win last night. What happened with that?
Oh, man, that was a great response because the last game 1, they lost in triple overtime. So they came back out. They had another game at home because they had the advantage during the regular season points-wise. So they came out very strong. I believe Adam Fox got the first goal on a shot from the point, and then Andrew Coupe, the guy they traded for at the trade deadline, who's been really good. He's got like 10 goals since he's come over, including one in game 1. So he put them up. And, the Penguins were right there neck and neck with them. But then the Rangers, they stretched it out in the second and third period. They got 2 consecutive power play goals. I believe in the second period, that was a big boost, made it 3-2. And then from there, they tacked on, 2 more goals and cruised to the win. So just a really strong performance for them. They needed that because now the next 2 games are going to be in Pittsburgh in enemy territory. So we'll see.
Well, it's a testament to them and their spirit that they came out so ferocious and won after such a heartbreaking loss. And I know they're favored to go far into this thing, if not take the whole thing, which would be electric if that happened.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'd have, a lot of those Ranger fans who get really excited. We get really excited every time make a run because it's like the first time since 94 or whatever.
Yeah. Mike and the Mad Dog, our idols, Tony, they always would say that the 2 most loyal fan bases in the area, the New York Giants, I don't know about that right now, but the New York Giants, it's been kind of shaky there, and the New York Rangers. Like, come hell or high water, those fans will come out and stand by their team no matter what.
I think that's the case because as a Giants fan, I mean, like, we've stuck by them through really rough years. So, and I feel like Rangers fans are kind of the same. I feel like,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Knicks too. I mean, the Knicks have done nothing for decades.
That's a good point.
And the Jets. But, there's diehards there as well. But Ranger fans are very, very loyal. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right, Tony. Well, thank you so much. And check out more sports at jerseysportingnews.com. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, coming up next, Met Gala fashion. I love the Met.
I'm so excited for this.
My God, some of the looks, unbelievable. With fashion stylist and costume designer, NG Hassan.
And you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're going to keep you up to date on who's going to be on the show. You can rewatch your favorite segments. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We are school teachers
We have leaders in business. It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta on your New Jersey weather forecast. Hi, Mike.
You may wonder why I'm smiling when I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this forecast. I mean, John prepared me. John Rocco, our weather intern, sent out a tweet last night saying, oh boy, they're going to complain about this forecast for the weekend. I'm like, I know.
Man.
But next week looks incredible, especially with the sunny, dry weather expected and highs back in the 70s. So that'll feel very nice. We get started today with some wet weather, and that rain will last all through this afternoon, picking up in intensity later on tonight and really come down early tomorrow morning. So we'll have anywhere from 1 to 2 and maybe even more inches by the time the weekend is through. Look at our temperatures this weekend, and they really don't climb very far into the 50s, even on Mother's Day for Sunday. So while tomorrow is raining, it's also windy. Wind gusts will be upwards of 30 or 40 miles per hour inland, up to 50 miles per hour at the coast. And with temperatures staying in the 50s all across New Jersey, it's going to be a very wet start to the weekend. Now, Sunday may have some lingering showers around, might have a few breaks in the rain, but it's still going to be cloudy, still breezy, and still chilly. And you might even find some flooded spots because the amount of rain we're expecting is pretty impressive up in Dover, close to 2 inches of rain. Same for you in Hackensack, Medford, down towards south central New Jersey. Over 2 inches of rain forecast for you, just over 2 inches in Asbury, and 2.5 inches in Stone Harbor. So lots of wet weather, especially with that easterly breeze. And remember, down in Stone Harbor, you have the best chance of seeing that coastal flooding with the saltwater inundation on top of the rainfall. Now, the only good thing about this rain is that it does knock down pollen levels, which we've seen so far this year with the Saturday and Sunday pollen levels to be pretty much non-existent. It's also not really great weather to be outside. It's the Sunday and Monday pollen levels that will start to creep back up specifically for trees and also a little bit for the grasses as well. All right, that all-important 7-day forecast with the weather looking very pleasant going into next week. We actually see highs that will be climbing back into the 70s as soon as probably Tuesday or Wednesday across most of New Jersey. These are the numbers specifically for Newark, but I think we'll easily see a rapid warm-up. And with the sunshine at our backs, it'll be very pleasant going into next weekend. Yes, there could be temperatures as warm as 80 degrees, but that is reserved for next weekend when we see a lovely feel. The trouble is the storm that's giving us all the rainfall for today and tomorrow and even for Sunday, it kind of stalls offshore, and it'll throw back some moisture our way throughout next week. So we'll see some times of clouds, but other than that, with temperatures back where they should be, it'll be a nice start to next week. So let's get all the rain out of here by the time official summer starts. We've got some plenty more to talk about, including another check of your Mother's Day forecast. That is coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And our newest addition to the New Jersey Morning Show, we're so happy to have him with us. Let's get a look at that morning commute. Don traffic with Don Smith. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Kara. Good morning, Lisa Marie. And good morning, Mike. Good to see everybody, and glad to be part of the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's get you over to the maps here this morning because it's fairly busy for the mid-morning hours in certain key areas. And the first is going to be here in that Bridgewater area along 287 heading south of the 78 interchange. It's kind of those inner roadway lanes. They call them the express lanes, but they're going to be having 2 lanes shut down. That's with a vehicle fire, and that just happened within the last about a little after 9:30 or so. So as you come south of 78, just be careful coming out of the Far Hills, Bedminster area is going to be just a bit tied up. Let's give you the update now on Westbound 3. Everything's been cleared here out by the Meadowlands. It was an accident investigation. It was out there for several hours, and that was at the interchange of 120. And our delays through Secaucus are really starting to slow up, but we're still seeing some delays getting off of Westbound 3 onto the northbound eastern spur of the turnpike, and that's still some residual volume, the alternate volume that we saw coming from that Route 3 problem. Let's over to Westbound 70 here. This is just into the 295 interchange in Cherry Hill. We're getting word there of a water main break, closing up at least one lane, if not subject to closure. It's a little bit delayed, so if you're using 70 to get out to 295 in Cherry Hill, definitely want to give yourself some extra time. Who knows how long that's going to be out there. Water mains can certainly take an extended period of time. North Jersey looks pretty good here. Northbound 20 getting up towards 46, a little bit heavy. Same thing along 17 and Route 4. Garden State Parkway looks great, pretty much end to end. The same thing on the Turnpike and Route 3. As we make our way down the shore, the Parkway may be heading out, early for the Mother's Day weekend is rolling along just fine. Let's take a quick check of the bridges and tunnels. About 15 to 20 at the George, 10 to 15 at the Lincoln, about 10 at the Holland. And for friends using New Jersey Transit, hey, doesn't look bad at all. Just some schedule changes there on the northeast quarter on the coastline coming up this weekend. That's it from here in the traffic center. Send it back to Kara and Lisa Marie.
Always, we appreciate it. We're happy to have you with us. Stick around. We're going to check back in with you in just a minute, but...
Yes, but first, earlier this week, we got to see all of the stunning looks from the Met Gala. Joining us now to talk about the New Jersey natives who lit up the red carpet is Engie Hassan, fashion stylist and costume designer. Engie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me again. Happy Friday, guys.
Happy Friday.
The Met Gala is one of my favorite days ever.
You know what? What I love about the Met, it's just so much fun because it's not like there's not a whole award show to watch, which I appreciate. And I love the costume. And Engie, you're a costume designer too. Like, I love the costume of it. It's not just get dressed up. It's like go over the top. It's a full-blown circus.
Yes, and so many people cross the river from New Jersey to make a statement. So tell us about the New Jersey natives that made a splash.
I actually think a lot of them came out from New Jersey natives that were exciting and different. And so Cardi B went and she was wearing Versace. She was Versace's guest. It was all embellished gold Versace chains that we're so used to seeing just like as a little accent on like a blazer or on a skirt. And then she wore it as like a complete dress. It was just intertwined as a total dress with the chains. And it gave me definitely the theme Gilded Age. It was like mesmerizing. Her silhouette looked great. Joe Jonas was there with his wife and they both wore Louis Vuitton. I appreciated him because it was also about white tie, which is like a higher level than black tie, and you have to wear that aesthetic. And he still they transitioned it to keep it inspiring and cool, and he added a little embellishment on the actual peacoat of it, so that was really fun to see. He didn't overdo it, which I also like, because I think sometimes it can look more costume than custom, so it's really important to still show that you're coming for the exhibit, you're not actually part of the exhibit. And you know what I'm saying?
I like that, and I like that distinction.
Yeah, so there has been a lot of that kind of conversation going on about the Met lately, but also I really loved Sebastian's look. Sebastian Stan, he wore Valentino. He was wearing all bright pink, and I think for me it was kind of I wouldn't see him wearing something like that. And I was I wanted to understand what was the purpose. And then I was doing some research, and everyone has their thoughts of it. And it was this is the American fashion of what he wanted to emulate with his team of stylists and in the designer Valentino. And it was the fashion house Valentino, excuse me. And they pretty much were, wanted him to look wearing something more ready to wear than the white tie, which I understand, because I feel in America we do wear more casual, sometimes too black tie things lately because of COVID and everything. So it's you don't have to wear this bow tie.
Angie, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I've always found that, especially in my travels to Italy, just because I have family there, and I do find, I think they'll tell you, at least my family has said, the way that they're very easily able to pick out an American is the casual way that we tend to dress.
Oh, interesting.
That, and if you walk around, and again, I can only speak to Italy in my own travels, but they do tend to dress up more just in their day-to-day life. There's not that kind of, sneakers and sweatpants look that that's how I go to the grocery store.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, they put lipstick on to go run an errand.
Yes, absolutely. So, Angie, back to the Met. In your opinion, who was best dressed overall and why?
Well, now, I actually, I have my list, and then I just was, today looking again for, New Jersey, and I took a moment. I really appreciated Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats' look. They were dressed by Ralph Lauren, which is an American designer. And I think, when we're in America, as Americans going to these events, it is so important to wear our designers and showcase them and their talent and creativity. And her dress was yes, it was beautiful and, couture and all that, but her cape had the whole skyline of New York.
I
saw that.
It was so cool.
Building. And, it does go into her music. And I know she sang a song about New York, but it was just kind of it kind of was breathtaking. I was like, that's our home. That's New York. That's, that's where we get inspired in the actual New York City, fashion house all creates in the vision of it. And Swiss Beats wore he still wore the white tie, but he added onto it a Yankees jacket. And I thought that was really interesting because I do think of the Yankees when I think of New York and fashion. That people wear that all the time as a part of their staple.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, really quick, my favorite, they're not New Jersey people. Blake Lively. Knocked it out of the park like no other.
That whole change mid-stairway, I was like...
But she had the constellations of Grand Central Station embroidered onto the train. And, she looked like a queen.
Yeah.
She did. And also, so Versace dressed her. And they're the dynamic duo. She should just always wear Versace. She just flawless. And her tiara was actually inspired by the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. So she had every kind of architecture that you think about of New York within her clothing, and that was really interesting. I really loved other people too. I enjoyed seeing the younger generation, Maud and also Sydney from Euphoria. They were so Maud was wearing. Hello.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, and she was wearing, and then she was wearing that, and then I thought that was really great that they were wearing something more, I wouldn't say conservative, but more old Hollywood, and it wasn't so the way that they would do it back then. They were just doing what is new, but still classy. And they're going to the Met and got invited and excited. And I thought that was really great to hopefully transition to the younger market being you can wear these styles, have fun in it, go to events in it. I really loved what other people wore, like Kerry Washington. She looked amazing. She was dressed by Tory Burch. For me, again, American designer, was great. It wasn't something that you would think Tory Burch would ever design. It was very sheer. You could think it's intimate apparel, but the difference compared to everybody else that was on the red carpet, it wasn't sheer in certain areas. That was, what everybody else does. You would think it's is this intimate apparel or is this an evening wear gown? She looked flawless. It was just gorgeous to me. I loved it so much.
Well, there's 361 days until the Met next year. So counting down the days. Angie, thank you so much for coming on here. I know that you've been at the Met, you've styled people at the Met. We were playing pictures of that, during your segment. So keep doing what you do. Where can people find out more about you?
You can go to angiestyle.com.
Great. Thanks, Angie. And happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Have a good one, Angie. So speaking of Mother's Day, let's bring our guys back in here. We've got meteorologist Mike Favetta and Don Smith, Don Traffic. Mike, you got one more quick check of that Mother's Day forecast for us, right?
We do. We've got the brunch menu because maybe brunch is popular for taking mom out. Although I think weather is more conducive for Mother's Day in breakfast in bed, considering how ugly it's going to be outside on Sunday morning. Temperatures in the 50s, rain all across the state, and I'm sure traffic wouldn't be looking too great on Monday morning either. Sunday morning.
That's it. Mike, go ahead. Let's just wrap up. We'll say Happy Mother's Day to all our moms out there and any of the other ladies in your life that you want to shout out.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the moms, grandma, godmother, all very, very special for this Sunday.
Absolutely. Don, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say a big happy Mother's Day to my mom. Love her very much. And yeah, happy Mom's Day to everybody who's watching. Just a special day. And hopefully that rain will kind of just get out of the way, like you said, if you're going to brunch. We're going to brunch too. So hopefully we'll be able to get out onto the deck there at the Galloping Hill Golf Course. So.
Absolutely.
nice.
Very nice. Yeah. So obviously, well, happy Mother's Day to you,
Thank
my
you.
friend. Obviously, I have to say a huge happy Mother's Day to my mom, Mama D, Marie. Literally nothing in my life happens or functions without her behind the scenes, picking up the pieces, putting things in place, reminding me. I mean, the woman is a rock star. She's having surgery on Monday, so of course, we wish her well.
Oh,
She's
okay.
fine. She's a little knee.
No, it's okay,
knee
but we
problem.
keep her in our
Yes,
prayers.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And I wanted just really fast give a very special happy Mother's Day to my good friends Sarah and Jen. They're celebrating their very first Mother's Day with their baby boy Jace. So I'm really happy to enjoy and celebrate with them as well.
That's awesome. Well, happy Mother's Day to my mother, my grandmother, who also serves as a babysitter still to
Yes.
Liana, which is amazing, and I'm so thankful for that. My aunts, my godmother, and a very special Mother's Day shout out to my sister-in-law, Ariella, and my brother. They just welcomed their baby boy, Peter Anthony, on Tuesday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's a very special Mother's
Very
Day in the
special.
Latino household. My other sister-in-law, Stephanie, who is watching Liana today, so I can be here with you. Thank you, thank you. And to all the mamas out there, thank you for everything that you do. Enjoy your day. Hopefully you get to relax.
Yes, absolutely. And all the moms who work on our show as well, our director, Pam. I'm trying to think who else. We have a lot of young people, but I know Pam
Mrs. D'Amber watching, Jess.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, there's literally.
Christina Bear, Laura Jones.
Nothing around here functions without the moms in
Yep.
this group and our moms. And of course, all of you who watch who are moms, again, as Lisa said, we wish you the happiest Mother's Day. Thanks so much. Have yourselves a great weekend.